There is something no one tells you about waiting for an apology. It does not feel like waiting. It feels like hope. It feels like you are simply giving them time. Time to see what they did. Time to understand the weight of it. Time to find the words. And so you wait, not loudly, not with demands, but quietly, the way people wait for rain, the way people wait at a window for someone who may never come. You replay the moments, the ones where they hurt you, the ones where they looked you in the eye and said nothing, the ones where you waited for them to reach for you and they turned away instead. You thought about what you would say when they finally came to you. You rehearsed it, the conversation you would have, the way you would receive their apology with grace, the way you would explain calmly how much it had cost you, how much you had carried, how long you had waited, and in the quiet of your own mind, you forgave them over and over again before they ever asked you to. That is the kind of person you are. You are the kind of person who forgives in advance, who extends grace before it is requested, who holds space for someone else's healing, even while your own wound is still open. And there is something breathtaking about that. There is also something that broke you a little, because the apology never came, not the way you needed it to. Maybe they said something, a few words, quick, hollow, the kind of apology that is really just a request to stop bringing it up, not an acknowledgement, not an accounting, not the kind of words that hold the full weight of what happened. Or maybe they said nothing at all. Maybe they moved on as if nothing had happened, as if the thing that cracked you open was too small to warrant a conversation, as if your pain was inconvenient, a subject to be changed, a feeling to be managed, a chapter to close without ever actually reading it. And you were left there, holding all of it, the hurt, the unanswered questions, the version of the story that only you know, wondering what it said about you that they could not bring themselves to say the words, wondering if the wound was real if no one else acknowledged it, wondering if you were asking for too much. You were not asking for too much. Let me say that again. You were not asking for too much. An apology is not a luxury. It is not something you beg for. It is not something you have to earn by being patient enough, by being understanding enough, by shrinking yourself small enough that they feel safe enough to finally speak. An apology is the bare minimum of what happens when one person hurts another. And you deserve that. You deserved someone who could look at the pain they caused and say, with their full chest, I see what I did. I understand what it cost you, and I am sorry. Not because it erases it, not because it undoes the thing, but because it says you mattered enough to be honest with. That is what you were waiting for, not just the words, the acknowledgement, the proof that what happened was real, that you were real, that your pain was real, that you were not imagining it, that you were not too sensitive, that you were not the problem. You were not the problem, and I want you to sit with that, because some of you have been so long in the waiting that you have started to wonder if maybe you were, if maybe you asked for too much, expected too much, felt too much, and the answer is no. You did not feel too much. You were with someone who felt too little, or someone who felt plenty, but could not make themselves accountable for it. There is a difference between someone who does not know they hurt you and someone who knows and cannot bring themselves to say it. Some people are simply not capable of the kind of honesty that an apology requires. not because they are monsters, but because the apology would mean they have to look at themselves. Really look. And some people have spent their whole lives avoiding that mirror. An apology means admitting fault. It means sitting in the discomfort of having caused harm. It means making themselves small for a moment, in a way that feels unbearable to someone who has always needed to be right. And so they don't. They deflect. They minimize. They turn it around. They make you the one who is difficult, the one who cannot let things go, the one who is too sensitive, the one who is always bringing things up. And slowly, you started to believe them, not because it was true, but because when someone tells you a story about yourself long enough, it starts to feel like your own. If you are watching this and something in you recognizes that, I want you to know you are not alone. And I want you to keep listening, because what comes next is the most important thing I will say. If you have found something in these words that feels like the truth you have been searching for, if this is the first time someone has named what you have been carrying, please subscribe, leave a comment below, tell me what this brought up for you. You do not have to figure this out alone, and you are not alone in this room. Now, let us talk about what it means to stop waiting, because here is the truth about the apology that never came. It is not coming, and I do not say that to be cruel. I say it because I want to give you your life back. Every day you spend waiting for that apology is a day you hand your peace over to someone who has already shown you they are not responsible with it. Think about what the waiting has cost you. The nights you lay awake rehearsing what you would say, the conversations you had in your head that never happened out loud, the energy you spent trying to understand them, trying to explain yourself, trying to make yourself small enough, or clear enough, or patient enough that they would finally see you. That energy belonged to you. That love belonged to you, and it has been living outside of you, in a house where someone is not taking care of it. The apology you needed was never just about them admitting fault. It was about your need to have your reality confirmed, to have someone say, yes, what happened was real. You were right to feel what you felt. You were right to hurt. You were not asking for too much. But here is what I need you to hear. You can give that to yourself. I know that is not what you wanted to hear. I know you wanted it from them. You wanted it from the person who caused the wound, because that is the only version that would feel like real justice. And that makes complete sense. There is nothing wrong with wanting the person who hurt you to be the one who heals it, but they cannot give you what they do not have. Someone who could not hold your pain with care while they were with you cannot hold it now. Someone who turned away from your tears is not suddenly going to turn toward your healing. What you needed was something they were never able to give. And the waiting, the endless, faithful, gracious, exhausting waiting, has been you trying to change that. You cannot change that, but you can change what you do with the wound. Healing without an apology is not weakness. It is not settling. It is not letting them off the hook. It is not saying what they did was acceptable. Healing without an apology is one of the most radical acts of self-ownership a person can perform. It is saying, I will not let your silence be the thing that keeps me small. It is saying, my peace does not require your permission. It is saying, I am going to name what happened right here, in this room, in this conversation with myself, and I am going to let it be real without your signature on it. What they did happened. You do not need them to confirm it. Your memory is enough. Your body is enough. The way you changed after that period is enough evidence. You do not need them to sign off on your own story. You were there, you know what happened, and now it is time to grieve it. Not the relationship, but the apology. Grieve the conversation you will never get to have. Grieve the version of them you believed in, the one who would eventually see you, the one who would eventually come back and say, I am sorry, I see you now, you deserved better. Grieve that, because that version of them was real to you, even if they never fully existed. You loved something real, even if what you loved was the potential of them, and it is okay to grieve that. It is okay to cry for the apology that is not coming. Let yourself feel how unfair it is. It is unfair. You poured yourself into someone. You gave your patience, your forgiveness, your understanding, your time, your tenderness, and you deserve to have someone pour back. That is not too much. That is the bare minimum of what love is supposed to be. And I want you to let yourself feel the grief of that gap between what you gave and what you received, between what you needed and what they were capable of offering. Let yourself feel it. And then, when you are ready, not before you are ready, begin to release it. Not for them, not so they can feel better, not so people will see you as gracious. Release it for yourself. Release it because the weight of carrying an unwillingness to forgive someone who will never ask for it is a weight that only you are feeling. They are not feeling it. They moved on. They are living their life. They are sleeping at night. You are the one awake at 3 in the morning, replaying, rehearsing, waiting, and you deserve to sleep. Releasing it does not mean forgetting. It does not mean pretending it did not happen. It does not mean you welcome them back into your life. It does not mean you say the wound was not real. Releasing it means you decide that what happened will not continue to have power over your future. It happened in the past. You survived it. You are here. And now, slowly, you begin to come back to yourself. You begin to remember who you were before you started waiting. What did you love? What made you laugh without thinking about it? What dreams did you have before they became background noise? Those things are still there. You did not lose yourself entirely. You just set yourself down for a while to hold something heavy. And now you can put it down, not because it was not heavy, because you have been holding it long enough. The affirmations I want to leave you with today are not platitudes. They are not phrases to hang on a wall. They are truths I want you to return to. Truths I want you to say out loud when the waiting starts again. When you find yourself rehearsing that conversation one more time, say this: my pain is real whether or not anyone validates it. My memory is trustworthy. I did not ask for too much. I am allowed to grieve what I did not receive. I do not need their apology to begin my healing. I release the weight of waiting, not for them, for me. I am worthy of the kind of love that does not have to be chased. I am worthy of honesty, of accountability, of someone who can look at what they did and say, I am sorry, you deserved better. And if they could not give me that, I give it to myself now. You deserved better, not a different version of what they gave you, not a softer version of what they gave you. Better, a different kind of love entirely, the kind that does not leave you waiting at the window, the kind that sees you, names you, chooses you, stays. That kind of love exists, and it begins the moment you stop waiting for someone else to bring it. It begins with you, with the quiet decision to say, I have waited long enough, not in anger, not in bitterness, but in the clear, still voice of someone who finally knows their own worth. I have waited long enough, and now I am walking toward myself. Take your time getting there. There is no deadline on healing. There is no correct pace for coming back to yourself. But you are coming back. You have already started. The fact that you are here means something. It means you have not given up on yourself. It means that somewhere underneath all the waiting, underneath all the patience and the grace and the hope, you still believe you are worth returning to. You are. You always were. Take good care of yourself. You deserve that.